Guys, Alex from Combat Fuel, and welcome to our podcast. We're joined today by Thomas Day, or Tom Day. He's probably going to absolutely hate me for calling him Thomas now. Tegs, as you probably know him, is a former Royal Marine. He has no dad, but he's one of us. He's our guys. Tegs, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
There's so many cameras here. It's very exciting. I feel this is the most professional thing I've ever done in my life. But it's good to be here. You probably have seen me about. I'm on Combat Fuel pages and probably your For You page more than you actually like. So, but it's good to be down here. Mega.
Absolutely. And what we're going to do is basically go through his life. From all of us started off being nobodies when we came out as babies to being a somebody. You know, he's a good friend of the brand. He's a good personal friend. So, with your life, mate, where did it start?
So, I feel like I've lived about 4 different lifetimes and I'm only 27. I've definitely aged since leaving the military more than I was in. But born, bred in Reading and then moved down to Wales when I was about 2. And then pretty much we were living in the southwest for my entire life, which is probably why I ended up going into the military. I used to live in Exmouth, which was right next to, obviously, Livingston Commando train station. So going past that every single day to go to school, it's fucking inevitable that eventually I was
from a young age.
I always just remember like going on the train to school. So I used to go to school in Exeter, and I'd always get on the train from Exeter every single day, and like I'd always see just lads getting smashed on bottom field, and I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty sick." And then obviously as I sort of went to school, started getting into the whole music side of things, which is obviously how I
was it. So when you were, did you have like a role model when you were young? Was there someone that you looked up to? I mean, seeing the Royal Marines all the time, was that something you thought
not really,
you wanted to do?
I just think, especially nowadays, because social media is so massive nowadays.
Yeah, which evidently it wasn't when we were growing up, was it? It wasn't really a thing.
When I was 9, 10, 11, mate, like the only sort of entertainment and phone I had was Snake Xender.
I was about to say Nokia 3310
and a PS2. There wasn't any of this what there is today on. So I think no one in my family was military, and no one in my family is like my mum was a teacher. Yeah, like she was on her own, single mum. So there was no real exposure to that. The only sort of exposure I had to the military was like the orchestra I played at, because the conductor was an ex-Royal Marines bandsman. That's the only way I actually put 2 and 2 together. But I think it's always hard with role models. Apart from people you see on TV and in ads, I wouldn't really say there was like a role model I had growing up. Absolutely. I just sort of probably my mum, actually. Role woman.
Like
probably mum, if you're watching this, I love you. Yeah.
Sweet, isn't it?
You're lovely.
Tell your mum you love her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to touch on that briefly then, so you say your mum, single mum growing up, and I know we all like to joke about it and stuff, but did it affect you not having a dad growing up?
I wouldn't say so, mate. I think a lot of people, like, obviously this is just my situation at the moment, but I think like, a lot of people obviously like would play on it, but I genuinely think it probably has shaped me into the bloke I am now. I genuinely don't think that you need both parents. If you've like, with my mum, she literally looked after me and my younger brother on her own, which is absolutely crazy. Looking back at it now, like I can barely look after myself, and I just think like if like my mum's managed to do it on her own with 2 kids, like it's absolutely crazy, mate. So I think I really don't think it is affecting me, which is probably why I can joke about it so much. Like that and my airline are just 2 things that are non-existent. So it is one of those where I think if you let it affect you, then you can say that with everything in it.
Absolutely.
Like, I think if you let anything affect you, you can have a negative look on anything.
But deal with the hand you're dealt in life, right? And
I genuinely
make of it what you.
And when loads of people ask about it and they say like, "Oh, is it not like affect you? Is it like weird talking about it? Is it weird like you joke about it online?" It's like because he left so young, like 5 years old. I think I was. It was so long ago, 22 years ago. I barely remember what his name is, what he looks like.
Yeah, and you've had no contact since.
No contact, no nothing. But game's a game. He's missing out on me doing all this mental shit in it. So
absolutely,
it's like it is one of those. So like I said to you, I just genuinely think that because I haven't let it affect me because I've grown up knowing nothing less. Then I just don't think it's a problem, really.
Well, I hope he sees this. I hope he sees your social media, looks at it and thinks, what a lad, you know?
Yeah,
no homo. I'm proud
what
of
a
you
legend.
and everything you've achieved. But absolutely, But I think for anyone else out there that may be in a similar situation, just deal with it. You can only let things affect you, and only don't be stressed about the things you can't control, which is brilliant. Obviously, you lived around Lympstone, you saw the Royal Marines. I would say that was inevitable. But that's not where you started, was it? You were a musician.
I was.
Was it a triangle?
I was a bandy, yeah. A bandy is what I was originally. So,
but even before that, you were heavily into
music. The music thing was massive for me. Like, my whole background used to be like the performing arts. So I used to be like every single thing under the sun that would get you bullied. We're talking ballet, we're talking acting, we're talking
some Billy Elliot, motherfucker.
Yeah, Billy Elliot shit. Except I was just chubby and overweight like that. So like when I was in a leotard, I looked proper fruity. It was mental. But I'd say, mate, from the age of 11, I think I was in year 6, and I was at school, and this basically the teachers came in and they were like, "Look, we're going to basically just razz you through some music instruments." And then I got given a trumpet, and I just remember like blowing into it in that way as well. And I was just like, oh, this is
blown into, is it?
Yeah. And I was like, this is pretty cool, man. And then I sort of like picked it up quite well in the first couple of months. And then it sort of grew from there. I started having like lessons and then joining orchestras. I basically joined this thing called like the Devon Youth Wind Orchestra. So basically like throughout the whole of like the UK, they have them for different like counties, states, whatever. You do loads of cool shit. So if you're down south, you probably know of like Devon County Show and all that good stuff. And we basically went around like the country, like doing gigs. It was mega cool. And it's obviously like all of like the people that you obviously have to be like a certain standard, a certain level to play in the band. Because obviously the level of music is basically the more equipped and experienced a band is, then the better music you can play. You're not just doing really just shite arrangements of like poor music. You could do loads and loads of cool stuff. And that's sort of where it stemmed from. And I think joined there about 13, 14, and I was there on and off for about 3-4 years. And then the whole reason, like I said earlier, the whole reason I got into it was because the conductor of the band, the bloke who stands at the front waving his stick about, he basically was an ex-Royal Marines bandsman. And when he basically sat down and asked me, and he was like, what do you want to do when you sort of like turn 18? Do you want to go to uni? Do you want to do anything like that? And I was just like, I'm a bit too solid to go to university. I only have one A level. He was like, well, why do you not think about joining the military, doing the band service? And I didn't even know that the Royal Marines had a band service. So I went down to, they did like I don't know what you like the military, like the other forces equivalent is of it. But you basically have like a week, like a look at life. It's a look at life course. That's what it's called. You go down for 5 days, and we got embedded with the band. We're playing like music with them. Getting exposed to some of the stuff that they do. Obviously, a lot higher standard. And then we did like a little bit of fizz and just like a look into what life would be like if you joined. And then after that, I was like, yeah, I fucking love it. It's sick. So I then put my application in. The application process took around 9 months, just because they only have one intake a year. So you have to do your medical, interviews, all that good stuff. And then you go down and like, it's not like PRMC where you just go down and get thrashed for 3 days. It's a proper 5-day course. And they basically will assess you on not just the instrument that you want. So you basically apply to join the category. So I wanted to obviously be a trumpeter. But they audition you on loads of different types of instruments because they have like these things called like dual and triple categories. So you could, so one of the categories is solo trumpet, for example, which is like, you're basically the dog's bollocks if you're playing solo trumpet. You get all the solos, all the bitches, everything. But then you have things like, if you're not as good as someone on the solo trumpet, you would be like a cornet, for example, but you'd also double up on a string instrument. So you've got like, you'd be cornet and violin or cornet and viola. If you play like any bass instrument, you're basically fucked because you've got to learn 3 instruments. It's like tuba, double bass, and bass guitar.
It's not an easy process to join and get in there then.
So so you basically audition on loads of these different instruments. And then I auditioned on the trumpet. Basically, because it's such a common instrument, I basically got told that I didn't make the cut for trumpet, but they were like, I basically tried the French horn blower, I know, not helping out this whole bullying escapade. But I got given the horn and they were like, look, we want to give you a category on the horn. Horn is a thing on its own because it's quite challenging. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take it. And then I literally just went into the school of music from there.
Nice.
2.5 years
Your
training.
call to serve was from when you were a youngster, really.
Yeah,
then into
18.
your
I
guy,
turned 18 on the 26th of
your
August
band conductor.
in 2016, and then I literally started training on the 3rd of September.
Nice.
So like I literally was in from 18 to 26.
Brilliant. So again, that cliche, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to join because I want to serve my country. I want to do this. And it's very patriotic, especially that time, there was a Herrick era that was coming to an end in Afghanistan. Was any of that a pull towards you?
I was really interested in the, the secondary role. So like a lot of the, a lot of the band service, like their secondary role is all like CBRN, helping out like medically, basically being that sort of assistance, which I thought was really, really, really cool. And I think it's like, it did sort of like appeal to me, the commando side of things, but because I'd done music for so long, I was like, I've sat down with my mum, had a chat, and it was like, why would we waste 7 years of like all this hard work I've put in? So I was like, oh, right, let's just go give the band service route like a go. And obviously we'll come on to it in a bit about the whole transfer process and that. But
so was there anything physical to do to get into the band as well?
So you do a fitness test, but any Tom, Dick and Harry can do it, I think. It's really, you do like a mile and a half in 13 minutes. That's like the cut off. It's a 13 and a half minute troop run and then 11 and a half minute best effort mile and a half, it really isn't that hard at all. And then you have to do like a certain amount of press ups in 2 minutes and a certain amount of sit ups in 2 minutes. It's really not that challenging.
Bit like the old school army PFA.
Yeah, but pretty much. Nice. And then you basically do like a watered down phase 1. So you still have to have a level of green skills.
Yes.
But you're getting White Angels up to Woodbury Common. You're not yomping anywhere with kit. It's just the basic level of fieldcraft and a couple of other bits, just so that if you were to go into that secondary role, you're not there as a liability. You're there as actually someone that can.
So you could still soldier. Should you need to have it?
Yeah, should it really need to happen?
And was there a defining moment of where you'd gone through, you'd been accepted to then join the Royal Marines band? Was there anything that you're like, this is what I'm going to do? Like, I want to go and do the band. Did you have any aspirations to go any further with it? Or was it just, let's join, I've been accepted, and let's see where this goes?
It was because I didn't really have a plan B. Like everyone always asks me on like social media, and they always talk about plan Bs and I want to join the Marines, but then like, I'm worried if it doesn't work out. And I always like, lad, why are you giving yourself a plan B? You're giving yourself a plan B. You're just asking yourself to fail. Yeah. So like, I've only ever had a plan A, really, in anything I've ever done.
That. I've had a lot of time for that.
But I sort of was like, look, I really didn't have a plan of what else I was going to do. So I just thought, fuck it, let's just see how this plays out. I'm very much a wing it person. And I don't really think more than 1 month, 6 weeks ahead.
It comes back to something, we share the same ethos, don't we? If you go full send on something, you can't fail if you never give up, though. However, the band wasn't obviously the all for you. How long did you do in there before something else happened?
So I ended up doing four years total in the band service, and the whole transfer process basically leads up to basically like the whole reason why I talk about no regret and everything in my life. And it's purely because, so when I finished my phase 1 training, they offered a couple of us the opportunity to basically branch transfer across into the Royal Marines Commando. So you would basically join at like week 12. So when you finish your phase 1, and I basically got offered, when I finished phase 1 training, they saw I had potential to go into the Royal Marines Commando. So I sat down with my boss in the office when we were having our end of brief or whatever before we left CTC, and he went, oh, have you ever thought about joining the Royal Marines Commandos? And I sort of said, I have thought about it in the past. It's like living in Exmouth, going on that train every single day. And I was like, oh, that's really something I would be considering. And then he basically said, right, go over on Christmas leave, think about it, the offer's there. And then I ended up going to Portsmouth, School of Music, settled in there. I was struggling a bit because I was obviously learning a new instrument from scratch. And I basically just sat on my laurels, and I was putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And then I basically got to that 6 month point where they've invested that much time in you, you can't transfer and you have to do your return of service. And literally, I remember as soon as I hit that day, I was like, fuck, this is the first thing that I've regretted not acting upon. And then I still enjoy my time in the band service, don't get me wrong. I did some awesome stuff, like got to fucking travel about Belfast International Tattoo, changing the guard in London, fucking playing outside Buckingham Palace, all stuff that musicians would like dream of. But throughout my entire training for the Royal Marines band service, I just had that thought in my mind every day.
I think, could you almost say that you were happy, but you didn't have like a deep sense of like fulfillment in what you did, because there was a bit of drinking going on back then, wasn't there?
There was a lot of drinking, mate, and
sort of doing a lot of extracurricular activities in terms of the band. That wasn't it? Like you were going away doing gigs.
It's hard to keep track of your fizz on the road, mate, because you're constantly on coaches, constantly in hotels, eating shit food. Like the booze culture is massive, and it just led me to just get. I mean, I'm only 5'7", but I was like 92 kilos of just like easily 30% body fat, and it was just like I was very comfortable because I could do the job, and like it was a good job, but it wasn't challenging me in the way that I wanted it to. And I still had that thought in the back of my mind of I've let this opportunity go. And when I basically tried to put in my request to transfer again, they said the only way you're going to get out of the Royal Marines School of Music is passing out of training. And at that point, I still had 6 months left before I was supposed to pass out in September. And I spoke to my instructor and I was like, right, I want to get out of here. You know I do. And I like the goal is now Royal Marines Commandos. And he went, right, we'll just pass you out of training early. So I passed out of training 3 months early in April, which you can do if they think you're good enough, then you can pass out. Went up to Scotland, and then literally I remember the day I went up to Scotland band, they were like, oh, what do you want to achieve from your draft? And I was like, I want to transfer, really. They were like, well, when do you want to promote, all this stuff? And I went, I would like a Green Beret, please. And they were like, to be fair, they were mega accepting, mega understand. They went, right, cool, we'll do all this stuff. So I went on a medical deployment on RFA Argus, like a training deployment for 3 months to sort of upskill me and all that good stuff. And then came back, and then I literally did my PRMC in February. I think I came back from that deployment in like November, and then not deployment, training exercise. And then obviously did my PRMC in February, passed that. It's obviously now the CPC, it's all mega changed. And then COVID hit. So I was then like treading water for 8 months. And I was
I mean, and just touching back, so you've gone from this like overweight, 30% body fat bandy to being fit enough to join the Royal Marines, like one of the elite fighting forces of the British military.
Yeah.
How? What was your why? Why did you go there, and what gave you that driving factor to be able to turn your life around?
I'll tell you what it was,
from a physical
mate.
point of view, if nothing else.
For me, it was the thing that I like hated the most was when people asked what I did, and I said I was in the Royal Marines. I then would say band service afterwards, and a lot of people would say, "Oh, not the Commandos," and I'd be like, "No, not the Commandos." And I know that's quite like a lot of like cocky and self-centered things. That's all like ego in it. But I think a lot of the stuff I do is probably for a little bit of ego. I sort of like having that chip on my shoulder and being like, I've done all this cool shit, and now I'm like hard, like trying to be like this like hard bloke. I quite enjoy and like thrive off people. When I tell people I do some of the crazy stuff I do on social media nowadays, I'm like, oh yeah, I've done this, and they go, what? That is nuts. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's sick. This bloke thinks I'm a bit fucking weird in the head. That's what I like really enjoy.
And that's that. And that was your like sense of achievement, your sense of like, I've got this done.
And it was like we said, the band service stuff was mega. I was mega comfortable in it, but it was one of those where I was just, it was getting to me a bit where I kept saying like, I'm in the Royal Marines band service, and don't get me wrong, the Royal Marines band service is extremely reputable, like one of the best bands in the world. Like everyone in the Corps, I know everyone in the Corps loves the band service because I play pass outs. They always think the band is hoofing. I've done so many gigs for like in seniors messes when they have all their piss ups, and like it's just a little quintet that are playing some banging tunes. It's mega.
Love it.
But for me, it was just, it started to get to me a bit that one, I let go of that opportunity those years ago, and two, it was like that's how I knew I needed to change, because like it was still getting to me, and I was still thinking about it 1, 2, 3 years down the line.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is where I need to just take the leap and go for it.
Nice. So COVID had happened. We had an 8-month delay. Then training started. So, and did you get to start on week 12, or did you have to go back and start?
No, so I actually lost my beret, mate. So I did PRMC, and then obviously when COVID hit and all that stuff, they basically had a massive restructure of training. So they introduced the ROP, the recruit orientation phase. So training actually got pushed to 36 weeks. And in the first 4 weeks of ROP, you have to wear like a little MTP cap.
Yeah.
So I obviously had my blue beret from the band service, blah, blah, blah. And then I went in to start the ROP and I got my blue beret taken off me. So I lost my cap badge and then I had to put an MTP cap on before we.
Little crap hat.
Yeah. And I was getting taught like how to iron again. And I was like, this is fucking so surreal.
Was there a point then when you were like, when you need a lot of discipline to go from, you'd passed out, you were still in the military, to then come back being taught week one, day one, this is how to iron, this is how to wash yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a screw stood in the shower naked being like, you got to pull your shaft up, pull your foreskin back, and this is how we got to wash. Was that quite hard? Did you need a lot of discipline to do it?
No,
or did you see the end state of
I liked it, mate, because I didn't want to have anyone say that I had it easier than anyone else. Yeah. I feel like if I come in at a certain period, like 4, 8, 12 weeks in, like it would just be someone somewhere would say, oh, you had it easier. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to just be, I didn't want to be known as that bloke who was a bandy. I just wanted to be known as a nod. I just wanted to be known as like, I'm the exact same as everyone else, just because I've had a bit of military experience in terms of the admin side of things. Like, yeah, I could iron a little bit better than some people, but all right.
Do you iron anything nowadays?
No. I don't. My missus does everything.
No.
literally does everything. You don't need to iron now. I'm a civvy. Who's going to tell me off? I'm my own boss. I'm not going to tell myself off and not iron it.
Hang stuff up in the air and cover. That's it. That's iron. Ironed itself. But so we've gone through training. It's very, very rare for anyone who's joined up as a Royal Marines Commando to go through training, but it's super rare for people to pass that as an original. An original means to not be back squadded at any part through injury, failure to perform, anything like that, failing fitness tests. Did you get back squadded?
No, original, baby. So probably one of my proudest fucking achievements, mate.
I'm going to say that a lot of people don't know this about Tegs, but I think it is absolutely phenomenal. So not only did you pass that as an original, which is brilliant. I mean, what? You might get 20, 30% originals in a troop that passed out?
So the numbers, so we started off with, I still remember these numbers because it's fucking, like I said, one of my fucking best achievements. We started off with 85 people. That was on week one, day one in the ROP. We had an extra 31 people like come through our troop from like obviously Hunter and people getting back troops and whatever. And then I think 17 of us passed out in 307 troop. And out of that 17, I think 9 were originals.
To 9, from 85 to 9.
Yeah, 85 to 9.
And that's not even the most impressive part, is it? And you know where I'm going with this. But the other guys don't. So to have joined the Royal Marines band and then transferred to the Royal Marines Commando, when did the last person do it? And not only when it was the last person did it, when was the last person that did it that passed out as an original?
So I think the last person that actually like transferred across was a good like 70, 80, 100 years ago. A couple of people have obviously tried to go down like the officer route, end up getting injured because obviously training is hard. Everything is mega, mega hard. And then obviously they get injured and they end up just going back to the sort of band. So it's been a fair so few. It's mega rare. Mega rare. I was just known as like the bandy round camp that would like everyone would be like, oh, what week's he on now? What week's he on now? And it's sort of like
almost that like were people waiting for you to fail something, to be back squatted, to have an injury, or
I think a couple of people were expecting it because obviously like people that have from the band that have transferred beforehand, like, and then they get injured and go back and they just think, oh, it's another bandy that's trying to get his green lid. And I was just like, but mate, like I always say that lockdown was the time of my life that sort of shaped me into who I am now.
Yeah.
I had a full like factory reset, bodily reset over those 8 months. All I did was like, I was watching Commando School on YouTube and Commando on the Front Line every fucking week. I was training every single day, like no gym as well, by the way. You got to think of the first 6 months.
Yeah, no, nothing.
I literally bought some weights from a gym that closed down, obviously because of the lockdown.
Yeah, cool. You must have been rich then, buying weights during lockdown.
It was like, no, this was right at the start, mate. It cost me 100 quid for 130 kilo of weight and a barbell off Facebook Marketplace. I mean, bloke was probably hanging out, which is why I was selling it so cheap.
Yeah.
And I literally would set up in my garden. We had cushions from our garden chairs that I put on the floor to have as like deadlift cushions so it didn't crack the concrete. And I would just run 5 times a week. Like, and I literally took my 5K down from like 25 minutes to 19 minutes. My mile and a half got down to like 8:15. I was maxing press ups, sit ups, pull ups. Like I was the fittest. It's only taken me till now, after doing a fucking ultra marathon and everything else, to get to the same level of fitness as I was when I was in lockdown. But I went well into all the stoicism stuff, the mindset, and like for those 8 months, I had no distractions, no nothing. Obviously, because you couldn't, because it was COVID, and like we'll never get a time like that again. But if it wasn't for COVID, I don't think I would have passed out of training, because my improvement from PRMC to when I started training was so substantial. At PRMC, I think I got like a 9-minute 45 run, and then I got 45 press ups, a level 11.2 beep, and then 70 sit ups and like 8 pull ups. So I went from doing that to maxing everything. And also I was doing like rogue shit, mate. Like whenever it would rain, I'd be like, Mum, I'm going out. And I'd just be running around, running around topless, around Exeter topless in the rain. I'll be ice bathing it every morning. I'll be making myself get up at 5 o'clock, like proper weird shit, mate.
So, I mean, and then into Royal Marines training, it is hard. It is stressful. Were there any setbacks at all where you thought, I'm not going to make this?
I don't think, I think because I was so confident in myself. Like when I left the Royal Marines band service, one of my last days, I remember being like, going to everyone, you're never going to see me again. Like burn all my Brit. I went proper like fucking
I mean, then you had to pass out, didn't you?
Because I was there,
you've got to burn,
I was
burn
like, you're never going to see me again. I'm going to pass out. I literally said I'm going to pass out and pass out as an original. Because in my head, I was like, if I had gone into Hunter, because I'd given it all this Billy Biggs bollocks, I was like, if I had gone into Hunter, I'd have to go off grid. I'd have to just go live in the woods in a hut somewhere, because like it'd be that embarrassing. But I think because I've just had so much confidence in myself, going through that way,
back yourself hard.
And I think that's like something that put it down to it. But like, so obviously some of the exercises you do, like violent entries are a massive one, where everyone always shits it for violent entry. Like you'll be in the grot the week before, everyone's like, oh, violent entry this week, I'm well nervous. I've heard horror stories about it. Like that was ridiculous. That was like Senny Bridge, 7 days, just rain and snow constantly. That was well hard. But obviously, like loads of stuff was like mega challenging. But I don't think there was never a point where I was like, oh, I'm going to give up here. I'm going to do that, because I was so obsessed, mate. Like probably an unhealthy obsession. But like we always say,
so I never think there's such a thing as an unhealthy obsession. I think if you're obsessed with something, obsessed is what the lazy use, and that's the words they use to describe the dedicated. Don't believe there's such a thing as an unhealthy obsession, because also look at where you are now. If you hadn't had that unhealthy obsession, you wouldn't be where you are now. So I think it's what makes people that are successful.
Yeah, and it goes back to that COVID, mate. And it is one of those where it was such a weird time in the world. But like I said, if I didn't have that period of 8 months where I've shaped myself into like the mindset I have now, I feel is very rare in an individual. Like the constant ability to like work, do stuff out of hours, like consciously going out of your way.
Yeah, I mean, people. Well, I've set some people. A lot of people, I think, expect it on a plate given to them. They don't have that ability to turn around and be like, I want that and I want to get it. Ain't no one doing it for me, so I'm going to go and I'm going to get it. And I think you've done pretty well at getting yourself there, haven't you?
Yeah, wow. It's still a work in progress, but I think it always will be.
It's always a work in progress,
I think it always will be. Yeah.
Absolutely. However, you didn't stay in the Royal Marines, because you've obviously sat here now as a civilian. How long did you do in the Royal Marines?
So I ended up doing 4.5 years in the Royal Marines. I TX'd on April the 1st, I think. No, April the 27th, 2025 this year. So technically, I've only been out of the military for 6 months.
Awesome. Before we get onto where we are now, though, military highlight, best time of service as a Royal Marines Commando.
America, I will say this till the fucking cows come home. America 2023, California, Pickle Meadows. Oh, like it was my first like proper trip away with the Marines. And we were out like working with the Yanks, doing mountain training, just proper hard shit. I trained for it like fuck. Once again, got myself well fit, because I knew exactly what I was doing. My first trip with heavy weapons, air defense, absolutely loved it, air defense. If any air defense boys are watching, get up, lads. I'm like such a good little like group of lads, like 60 boys, just love like banging weights, being fit, brilliant, carrying heavy shit, firing rocket launchers.
Nice.
Fucking works.
What was that moment then where you're like, love my time, but I'm done. I'm getting out. Because you'd already started doing a bit on social media, hadn't you?
So I got back from Norway 2024, and I sort of got back from the Norway, and I was just sort of, it wasn't really like doing it for me anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like the itch was like, I could have stayed in, but I felt like I was coming to that awkward time where I'd always sort of said in my head, especially even when I joined the band service, I didn't want to be in the military when I was 30. Like, I feel like starting something new when you're a tiny bit older is mega difficult. Just because like you're like there's so many other people doing so many other things, and the longer you leave it, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, if I want to set up another life for myself outside of the military, I'd rather leave a little bit earlier.
Yeah. No better time than to start in the present, though, is there?
I got back from Norway. I've done 3 months out there. We've done like novices, and we finished off with a massive, like, I think in the field for 23 days. And that is obviously enough to leave a man with his own thoughts for that amount of time.
Yeah.
And I came back from that Norway, went on Easter leave, and I was like, I played around with the social media a bit in the past, which we'll touch on a bit later on when we go into obviously the social media stuff. But I was thinking, like, I really want to give this social media thing another crack. And I remember speaking to this lad. He'd been in air defense for about 9 years. Proper looked up to him. Fucking really, really good lad, really good role model. And I messaged him saying, lad, I'm thinking about doing something like this on social media. Like these sort of videos, like what's your honest thoughts? Because there's obviously like a few people that do the whole military thing, and I didn't want to be disrespectful or like take the piss out of the Marines. You know what I mean? Like within my head at the time, I was a little bit conscious of lads taking the piss out of someone making videos on the military, because it's like back then, even though it was only a year ago, it wasn't a done thing. Whereas obviously now everyone smashes social, like the Royal Marines and social media. Fucking awesome. One of my mates, Jack Slice Shoots, legend. He runs loads of like the Royal Marine ad campaign stuff for it now, and they've sunk so much money into the advertising. But like even this time last year, it was nowhere near as big as it is now. No. Like military content creators.
There's a bit on there as well where, I mean, you've not done a tour, you've not done that, and I've seen it firsthand. People giving you a bit of stick on social media for it. I mean, you can't help when you're born. You can't help that there's not a war going on when you do it.
Yeah.
But how does that affect you when people are like, "Oh, well, what have you done? How can you be a coach? You've not been to war. You've not done this."
No, because I've been so open, and I know that all my gongs are fucking chocolate. I know that I've done nothing like mega alley, but the stuff I've done, it's made me happy. Like the trips and the experiences I've done, I know for the vast majority of people, they're not going to ever experience. Like no one's ever going to be top of a mountain at 3,000 meters in California, like in an OP. Do you know what I mean? No one's going to be in Australia in the outback, like in these OPs and doing whatever in like the blistering heat. Like this is like, that's still mega cool. And like, you got to sort of take what you can. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there's no wars going on, but you're still going on trips. You're still seeing the world.
And you're still doing signed on the dotted line, not knowing what would happen.
Exactly.
You know, lads joining now thinking, you know, I know some senior NCOs that have been in for the best part of a decade. They've not been to war.
Yeah, you can't help it, and you
absolutely. And you know, pre-Afghan, pre-Iraq, a lot of guys were the same as well. That there wasn't a whole host of tours, and the majority of people that join don't go on deployments, do they?
No.
So social media has been that enabler to allow a lot of like hate online, which we'll touch on later. You signed off then. Was that to do social media full time? Was that like, I want to be social media, or was it more, I want to be a coach, or a mixture of both?
So the goal was always, I love creating content, creating memories, creating everything I think is like so good just to look back on and have as well. And I've always been mega creative. Like when I was like, I've done like videography for people before. Like I said, I've done social media a couple of times before when I was competing in natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like it's always been a sort of part for me. I've always had a camera there. I've always done whatever. And I'm so glad I started when I did, because if I had left it till my original plan was when I went on resettlement in February, there would be like none of this would have happened, because even in the space of that 9 months, like it's become so oversaturated. I'm probably part of the problem why it's become so saturated, because I think I sort of understand how social media works, and I worked out what worked and what didn't. And within like a couple of months, I was banging videos with 5 mil views. There's that 1 8-second video of me getting my green lid.
Yeah.
And then like it cuts to a video of me training. It's on like 6 million views, which is something like absolutely
crazy.
Nuts.
Crazy. But, and it was around then, or just before that we'd reached out to you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Being like, you know, for no other reason, I think you had like 1,000 followers then.
Yeah, I was
and we're like, you know what,
time.
This guy's our people, you know. I like everything about him. We don't care that what you have or haven't done in the Marines. We just, like all the other athletes, we like you as a person. We like what you stand for. Good morals, good lad, and a little bit tapped.
Yeah.
A little bit crazy, a little bit wild, which, you embody everything that we do. So you've gone away, you've left. Coaching business is doing okay?
Yeah, so I literally did what every young lad dreams of doing. I literally left, and as soon as I left, I went straight to Thailand. Yeah. Went for Thailand for 8 weeks. six or 7 weeks, and I went to Bali for 4 weeks, and then I went to Portugal for a drum and bass festival, and I went to Corfu with my girlfriend, and then I came back and then literally moved house into a place I'd never even seen before. But I just wanted to go away and experience a bit of freedom, something that I probably hadn't had in my time serving. But I originally just started taking people on for free. My whole thing was just trying to build up social media, build up credibility. Like I knew I had like the coaching, I loved doing it and loved getting lads fit. And I'd done it a tiny bit in the past, but obviously I know it, like I had to pay the bills. So that's why I started while I was in the military, I was like, let me gain as many free transformations and testimonials as possible. Because I never do it for the money. Like I'm probably one of the cheapest coaches out on the market. And that's not because I'm a shit coach. Like if you literally look at my transformations, I'm one of the best dogs around, full stop. But like I just wanted to build up that massive like reputation and credibility so that when I did shift into starting to charging people, they're like, oh, he's a fair, decent price. And like, look what he's done with all these people. Like mega happy. And that in my head was the most sensible thing to do. So I built up, like, I think I had at one point, I had like 18 people on all for free that I was just doing part-time while still serving in the Marines. And then it sort of got to around November, December time in 2024, where I started charging people. And then it was doing all right. And then in Thailand, it just started taking off. I think Thailand made me as well because...
Thailand question, ladyboys?
No, ladyboys.
Oh,
everyone always asks that.
That's like
everyone always asks
that. You have to ask Thailand ladyboys. That's like saying what's the capital of Thailand? Bangkok.
Yeah,
it's one of them questions.
No, I mean
you have to ask.
There are a lot about, but no, that absolutely not.
But it seems like your transition from military to back into the civilian world now as a veteran wasn't that difficult.
I say to everyone, my missus, my mum, anyone that asks me, that I'm very, very blessed to be in the position that I'm in. I think it's a 0.00 however many 0.1s chance that someone would end up in the situation that I'm in. Like having that, call it luck, call it skill, whatever, but the mix of both to leave the military with a few like 15, 20,000 followers and to sort of have a business set up. And like, it wasn't given to me. Like I was basically working 2 jobs at the same time, 4 hours sleep a night, 4 months of the day. Like I'd start work for the Marines at 8 a.m, finish at 4, 5 p.m, go bang gym, make content, 2 hours, drive home, 40 minutes, and then eat. And then from 9 till 1 every night, I was either editing content, doing client stuff, DMs, and I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, drive into work again, do it all over again. Like I lived in Liscard, which is like 40 minutes from where I was based at the Citadel. So I was doing a 40-minute drive there and back every day. But because I was obviously in a shared comm, I couldn't make videos in the comm with the lads. Like I had to like take that extra step. So I was doing like 18 plus hour days relentlessly from literally when I started in May till when I left in February. Like that is what it took. So like I do say like, yeah, I'm blessed because I'm in that sort of position. But then also looking back at it, I did put in the amount of work to get into that situation. Yeah, so it's
absolutely. Did anything surprise you though during that transition? Even if it was, this is so hard, or actually this isn't that difficult.
It's lonely, mate. It's especially with the line of work that I'm in now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we go and like, yes, they like social media is you talk to loads of people. I talk to my clients, like go and do collabs with people, whatever. But it can be very lonely. Like if I wasn't with my fucking missus, then it would literally just be me on my own in a room in an office, like just staring at a screen for 12 plus hours a day. And it really, I think what a lot of lads struggle with, and like there's a few of my mates that are sort of leaving around this time, and it's leaving the lads. There's no other job in the world, and I always say this at all, where you get a group of like-minded individuals all in the same room together that you know they've all done the same things, you know they're fucking a top lad, they've got the same level of banter as you, they're all fit, they all love boozing, you love doing stuff together. It's not just work colleagues. Like I was going to fucking festivals with lads who I went to America with. We all go out on nights out, having lads around my house for fucking tea, playing rugby with them.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I cannot replicate in the civilian world.
The
brotherhood you can't replicate. And like, you have mates and like people that are civvies. Like it's not there. Like it's not a bad thing that you're not there because it's something that you can cherish. Like having the thing with the lads is, I think, something that you'll cherish, and I always will. But I think sometimes I still struggle a little bit with missing the lads and missing that environment a bit.
Yeah.
maybe a bit of FOMO, whatever, but I think you always will. I think it's just one of those things where people, no matter how many years they've been out, people I've chatted to that have been out for fucking 6 months or 6 years, still struggle with it because it's such a weird adjustment.
Yeah, I know I really struggled with civilian street and reintegration. Social media wasn't a huge thing when I left. I think around 2016 that I was out, 2017. But yeah, massive kudos to you. 18-hour days when you were in, you would have thought that, oh, maybe it's got a little bit easier now. Now you haven't got a Royal Marines job to do.
It's got worse, mate.
We stopped chatting last night about midnight. You put a story up about 1:10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And what time did you leave to come and see us this morning?
So I didn't actually go to sleep till like 1:45 this morning. And then my missus woke up at 6 o'clock this morning. I woke up at 6:30. We left here at 7. We left Bristol at 7 to get down here for, 8:30.
Cool.
And then
so those 18-hour days are more like 20-hour days.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I'm very blessed that like now my missus like works with me on the business.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I brought her onto the business was so that I would have some more time to maybe chill out. We'll have a couple more dates here and there, spend some time together. No, completely the opposite, mate. I'm now taking on more work, doing more shit, and I fucking love it.
Love it, man.
Yeah, it's sick.
And that's something I want to touch on. You said it a few times. So we know Tegs, the guy that's scared to talk to women. But you said you got a missus a few times.
Yeah.
Can we chat about Grace?
Yeah, can we? Yeah, we fucking
can.
yeah.
She sat round the corner.
I'm her boss. I'll do what I want. Yeah, so we got together in October last year. Just some mutual friends from like Plymouth, whatever. She played for a Devonport rugby club. We had some mutual friends and literally just met her in the gym. She was actually in the back of one of my videos. I remember it. I was filming something on the assault bike, a mic'd up assault bike session of me thrashing myself. And you can literally see in the background, she like walks back.
Yeah.
So I've just finished that session.
Just checking out that hairline.
Yeah, lad. It was, bearing in mind, I had my fringe down at that point. Obviously my hair now is like slicked back. But at that point, I had a downward fringe fighting for dear life. And I looked like cooked differently, like pale face, white. And where we were in the JD gym, like you walk around the corner of the functional bit and there's like a squat rack there. She's in that squat rack, just chilling. And she actually, I'm going to say this as well, because fuck you. She actually ghosted me. So I messaged her. I sent her like a DM on Instagram. I'm trying to slide in differently. This is just like, it exaggerates how poor it is. And she actually like left me unopened. Yeah, for 5 days. And then I saw her in the gym and like, it was just one of those things where I didn't even like think about doing it. I just went over and just started just gobbing off to her, just started chatting. And then literally the next, like 2 days later, we went and got some food and then we were pretty much inseparable till I went to Thailand in February. But I'd obviously booked Thailand and everything before I'd even met her. And I basically said to her, I was like, love, I'm not cancelling Thailand.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll leave it to you. If you want to break up with me, dig out.
Yeah.
And she basically went, nah. And I was like, fair fucks. And then we literally went through the whole of Thailand and Bali together, still together. And then I literally met her at Gatwick Airport after not seeing her for like 3 months. She thought I was like a not human character. Because obviously, like being away for 3 months, you change like fuck.
Yeah, and you hadn't been together that long.
No, we'd only been together fucking 3 months. And then literally, I met her at the airport. We stayed in the airport that night and then we flew out to Corfu for like 9 days. Bearing in mind, the whole time I was away, like there was potential for me to go out and live in Thailand. And I basically said, do you want to move out to Thailand with me? And she said, yeah. And then that fell through. And I went, fuck it. If we're going to move to Thailand together, why don't we just move somewhere in the UK together?
Yeah.
And she went, yeah, fuck it. So she found us a flat to live in Bristol. I was on FaceTime to her while she's with the estate agent going around like that.
Going around having a look at it.
And then we literally got back, drove from Gatwick to Brighton to pick up her car, Brighton to Cornwall to pick up all of my stuff. And then, so that was like a mad long drive. And then literally we had 4 hours sleep. And then she had to leave to go up to Bristol at like 5 in the morning because our washing machine was arriving. And I literally grabbed all my stuff, said hello to my mum who I hadn't seen in 3 months for like an hour. And I drove up and then we moved in 1 weekend.
Absolutely.
And then literally here we are now, over a year in. She now is on the business, employed, proper little slave.
Loving it.
Gets paid below minimum wage.
Nice.
Love it.
Good.
It's mint, mate. But
does she do your washing?
Yeah, she does everything for me.
Cooking?
Absolutely
cleaning?
everything. Yeah,
Good.
cleaning.
Gender roles?
Yeah, wipes my ass, the fucking work.
Nice. Good.
It's just difficult though, because I find that like social media, especially as we get a little bit bigger on social media and as I grow, some people are fucking weird, mate. Like we were around, I can't remember if I told you this story. We were going around Cabot Circus a couple of months back, holding hands, pretty big step forward. And like we're walking around the top level of Cabot Circus, and a couple of hours later, bro's going through his DMs, and like this bloke sent me a video. He sent me a video from like the other side of Cabot Circus, and he's filmed me and my missus walking through Cabot Circus. And I sent a message being like, lad, it's
Bro,
fucking,
right.
it's weirder. It's weirder you taking the time to get your phone out and film me walking around with my fucking missus than it is you just come up and say hello.
Yeah.
Like, it's so odd, mate. So I kept her out of it for quite a while. And also she didn't want to be on like social media, but it's getting to the point now where some of the stuff we're doing on social media, it's a 2-person job, like strapping a Christmas tree to my fucking back and like wrapping myself in wrapping paper to run a mile. Like, it needs 2 people in.
Yeah.
And now she's on the business, like inevitably she's going to be in some of the videos. So we started like drip feeding it in a little bit now. And then we're going to do some mega announcement video, probably just before this podcast comes out, actually.
Nice.
And then, so she's not going to be like in all of it, but like it's
but
just,
that Grace I just
I just didn't want any fucking weirdos getting fucking odd with it.
Inevitably there are, aren't there? But so we now know that. So Tegs Coaching, you are just the face of it, but Grace actually runs the business.
Yeah.
And your personal life.
Yeah. Well, I am the brains behind the operation.
I don't know anymore. So talk about, like, you came back, you had this mad rush coming back from Thailand. Grace had sorted everything out for you. Probably did your washing as well with that new washing machine that came. But at the same time, we were really kicking things off for Combat Fuel, weren't we?
We were flying, mate.
Throwing your grid onto a tub, which I think you were back in the country for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then we launched the Tegs version, energy drink flavour, obviously, of Dynamite
Mate,
Energy.
I still remember that voice note you sent me in the fucking car, lad. It must have been like February time.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up to the gym, and I think I was saying about like how it'd be so cool to do something like this or whatever further down the line. And you were like, mate, we have an energy drink flavour already like made up. We'd have to do like a little bit more testing. And you were like, what about we just stick Tegs Coaching on like the side of a tub? And I was like, I remember ringing Grace afterwards. I was like, you'll never guess what's just fucking happened. And she was like, what? And I was like, we're going to be making a Tegs pre-workout.
Yeah.
The lads love it, mate. The amount of people that message me from that pre-workout saying they can see colours, unbelievable.
Love it.
It's so surreal. I've got a tub in my flat that's like, it just sits there.
We said we're going to keep it as an original.
As an original.
That's
it's
brilliant.
So sick.
And let's chat a little bit about supplements. So you were using a few different brands out there. We've got to be very egotistical and pig-headed. How does Combat Fuel compare to other brands that you may have used?
So back in the day, I used to use My Protein like everyone fucking did when I was in the band service and when I was competing in bodybuilding. But I actually used the Combat Fuel stuff for about, loads of lads got like a shipment of it in when we got back from America in 2023. And that's when I first found out about Combat Fuel. And I was like, I tried some of the protein and that, and I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. And then I ended up just buying some more bits from Combat Fuel anyway. So I was using Combat Fuel for like 6 to 9 months before you even messaged me saying this. And then when you did, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And it was so surreal getting that first box of like supplements. I was like, oh wow, this is like, I've got it for free. And I literally fucking paid for it last. But it's one of those where like, when you especially going to all these like events and doing all this shit, and I've tried a lot of different supplements in my time, and you can 100% taste the difference, feel the difference. Like if you're going to B&M Bargains and buying fucking a pre-workout there that's 12 quid, like you're going to be fucked, mate. Like you're going to have the worst crashes, whatever. And that's what I used to do because I was just like, oh fuck it, I'll just get some of this and like it's cheap and whatever. And like it's the quality control is so important. And it's like, but I think that's why you have so many, 1, returning customers, and 2, new customers, because the returning customers are coming back because they know the products are so good. And the new customers, a lot of them are coming. Like I have a load of people that always message me, 1, saying they use code Hairline. If you're not already, use that. And 2, they're saying like, oh, I've found out about this from like a friend of mine who's been serving or who's even a civilian that's tried it. And they they recommended it so much that's why I want to use it. And I think I'm such a big believer in results speaking for themselves, and like your image and your product speaking for itself. You, like yourself and your supplements, me and my coaching, like people have started like coming to me because they've been recommended by the people that I've helped that have either got their Green Beret or got an absolutely wham. Like I think reputation is such a massive thing, and it's so hard to gain, but so easy to lose. So it's so important that you are like, you have integrity with yourself, integrity about your product, what you're putting out there, making no half measures, so that you build that reputation like you have. And like, I think it's safe to say you're probably one of, if not the biggest, like supplement provider for across the whole military. Like,
absolutely,
everyone I know, everyone I know bangs
15% of the military use our products now, which is phenomenal. It should be 100%. If you're not using combat fuel, you should be using it.
Code hairline.
With a code hairline. You get money off and you support Tegs. It's a win-win for everyone. So for us, what is really hard, and it's hard to get across, is we're not the cheapest in the world, but you will never find a product that is formulated as strongly as ours, ever. Things down to like our joint that you've been using recently, it's the products we make are fantastic, which gets us on to, what do you currently use?
So things, I'll run you through what I use for my ultra marathon. If you haven't, I did an ultra marathon, by the way. If anyone's not seen it, well, you probably have seen it. It fucking banged, that video. Sick. So like the main one, so I don't really use a protein powder purely because I just love chicken. Like, and I always say to people, like, if you struggle to get your protein in, a protein powder is obviously a mega go-to, but I've just never struggled to get my protein in because I just love meat in both fucking senses. Orifices. But like things like your hydrate, that's probably the best one. So when I was on that ultra, I was literally I would fill up a 2-litre Camelback full of hydrate. I'd put 4 sachets in there, and then I'd do 8. So I did 8 on the 60K, and I did 7 on the 50K. The cups and the clusters, if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't be eating till 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Like, that is literally my breakfast and my lunch sometimes. Mega useful for on the road. Joint, my knees are obviously fucked. So that is actually like really, really, really good. And like, Grace has got me on the zinc and magnesium. Like, she used it to go to sleep. And like, if I've not been banging monsters at 1:30 in the morning, I actually want a good night's sleep. I do like zinc and magnesium, and that's mega. Those are like my main ones that I go to. Obviously the Tegs pre-workout, like I rinse that like it's going out of fashion. I actually need to take a new tub today. Thanks. Those are probably my main ones. But I always say to people, like, really, you don't need to overcomplicate it. Like, if you struggle to get your protein in, I say protein powder, vitamins, zinc and magnesium, and then like a pre-workout if you love your caffeine.
And that's a big thing for us as well. You said like about you not using a protein powder, and that's one of our biggest, I mean, it's not a marketing thing and it's terrible business, but we always say to people, it's protein powder is there to hit your daily protein goals. If you can use food, use food. You know, a supplement's there, the top of the pyramid to hit you off. And I think that's why we do well and we align together naturally well, because
it's that stereotype, mate. Because the stereotype is, I'm going to start gym. What do I need? Protein shake.
Oh, how many protein shakes?
You go down to Holland & Barrett and get your fucking pants pulled down, and you say, I'm 200 quid down. I've got fucking 3 items to show for it.
Yeah, and they're all shit.
Yeah, Holland & Barrett, fuck off. Mate. Yeah.
Holland & Barrett do not sell good products. Got to get shut down now. Got to get cancelled. Fuck you, Holland & Barrett.
Yeah.
So, what's next? For Tegs
what coaching. Is next?
I mean, can we say about the Christmas stuff? Because
yeah, we can. Yeah, it'll be done by the time this podcast is out. You're going to have
done I mean, the 30 miler is like the final Royal Marines test. How could you make a 30 miler harder?
So we're doing it for the Christmas calendar, okay, which you probably would have seen, was a whole series of videos that I came up with back in September. And I remember sitting down with Grace. I was like, I want to do something tapped for Christmas, something that's going to make or break me, either make me on social media or break me as an individual, because I'm going to have no sleep. And at the moment, it's breaking me. But basically, it's like it's a fucked video every single day for 24 days. So like the first one was Mount Snowdon in Crocs and budgies. And we've got loads of other shit like carrying a Christmas tree on my back, how many pigs in blankets I can eat in fucking 10 minutes, an eggnog mile, burpee kilometer, penny fan in a suit, like all this stuff that genuinely you have to be like on the spectrum to think of, which I am. And we're finishing off with the 30 miler in Crocs. I did an ultra marathon in Crocs in like a couple months ago when I was training for the ultra in Morocco. And literally like since then, like everyone was blowing up about it. I did a high rocks in Crocs, and like, it's hard because I don't want to be put under that umbrella as the Croc guy, because then I have to do my whole life in Crocs. But I was like, when I did that 30 miler, everyone either said, oh mate, that's a really, really good achievement, or in Crocs next. And that same thing has gone into my head.
Called out for it. Are you going to do it?
Yeah, I am. Nice. I am. It's been going around my head for ages. And I was saying to Grace, I was like, that would be a really good way to finish off the Christmas calendar, is on Christmas Eve, the 24th of December. So we're going to run it on the 22nd, and obviously need a day or two to edit it or whatever. and it'll go live on Christmas Eve, and then I'm just going off grid for Christmas Day. Like, fuck me, the amount of work and hours.
Yeah.
I always said to you, didn't I? Like, people see like a 1 minute video, but
and they think, oh, it's easy being an influencer. If we're going to call it that, it's not that hard doing social media.
That Snowden one.
They don't see how long. Yeah, Snowden. How long did that take you to one film and two edit?
So Snowden, it was a 4-hour drive up, a 4-hour climb, 4-hour drive back, hour and a half to edit. You're talking 13 and a half hours. I mean, it's done fucking well. I'm happy about it. But it's also like, that's one that's done well.
30-second to a minute video has a day's work behind it. Minimum. So every video you see is like 1 to 2 days worth of work.
And I also have videos that I put that amount of work into, and they don't do well. They flop, and I'm like, it's just so hard to not get fucking despondent.
Is that quite hard to see when a video flops, and you're like, oh, does it make you then think, oh, I don't care, I'm not going to do that anymore?
No, because I would make content if fucking 10 people watched it.
I love it, and that just shows that you're passionate about what you do. There's no other ulterior motive in it. You just enjoy doing what you do.
I think, the reason why, I always say this, the reason why most people fall off social media and they give up with coaching, they give up with everything, is because they're doing it for the wrong reasons. They're doing it because they want to get famous, and they want to make a lot of money on coaching.
Money, absolutely.
And I've always done it because I've just loved making videos and loved creating content and entertaining. That's like the whole reason why I've done it. And like, I do get a little despondent sometimes. I went through a massive rebound a few months ago where I wasn't talking about the military anymore because I didn't want to
touch on anymore.
No,
at all really. It's sort of.
I do a little bit. I'll sort of I'll mention it sometimes, and sometimes I will do like a video on like a full week of training for the Royal Marines, or I just don't bang it every video because like I said, it's so saturated now. And obviously because I sort of rinsed it so much in the start and lots of people saw me do well. And there's a couple of people that have like obviously copycats. You've had it with copycat brands. I have it with people that try and copycat me fucking word for word and like
wearing chains, wearing Crocs, even the same Crocs.
Yeah, lad. And
it's the like imitation is the biggest form of flattery. You know, you've got to be doing something right that people are like, I want to do this. I want to.
And I always say as well, it's like, especially now with this Christmas calendar stuff, at the end of every video, I go to Grace, I go, good luck fucking copying that. And like, it's so funny, but like, that's sort of how you need to go about it. But because everyone's always doing it for fame or whatever.
Yeah. And it's just that it's the wrong reasons, you know, like when I started Combat Fuel, it's because, you know, I like supplements and I think I can do it better than what other people are doing. And, you know, we're 7.5 years. When this comes out, we'll be 7 years and 9 months old, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like we're knocking on the door of a decade of doing businessing. And I still don't really know what I'm doing. I just make products for myself and hope that everyone else likes them. But you can't go wrong when you do things because you're passionate about them and you're not just there trying to chase something that.
And I always say, mate, it will eventually work out. I say this in all my like motivational videos. Eventually it will work out. It has to. If you leave no stone unturned at the end of every day, and you literally I go to bed every night, fucked, mate. I go to bed and I'm like literally lying there, like eyes are in the back of my head, like just so tired and so depleted. But I'm like, I've done everything I could have done today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wake up the next morning and I go, right, what's next? And that's what you have to do. And if you don't do that, and if you go, oh, I could have done a bit more today, or I could have done this or that, you're not going to make it. But
before we finish, I think we should touch on something which is probably quite controversial to those that aren't in the world of like what we do is everything we do. So we've got Tegs coaching. We've also got our relationship. And I know for me, I find it really difficult trying to balance a relationship and work. And for me personally, work comes first. But in 10, 20 years down the line, we'll be so grateful to look back on that we put absolutely everything into it. And I'm not going to retire at 70 years old having to still work. I'll have the ability to step away when I'm, say, 50 and really enjoy a lot of time. Where are you at the moment with you and Grace? And what would come first for you?
See, I think I've always said to Grace that the work does come first, because like Tegs coaching's been my child. And I always say to her, one, I'm very appreciative because she puts up with a lot of shit, mate. Like I'll come in at like, oh my God. Do you remember that time that I came in? I came in, lad, at like 1 o'clock in the morning in like September, and I went, can I book this? She was like, what the fuck are you on about? I was like, it's an ultra marathon in the Lake District next year. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, but you wanted me to fucking tell you when I book stuff. And she went, thank you for doing that, but it's 1 a.m. That's obviously, I just fucking remember that. That's so funny, isn't it? But like, I know I'm dreadful, mate, with the work-life balance. Like, I am probably the worst bloke ever. And I will like, I'm mega poor at it. And especially when Grace wasn't on the business, we definitely struggled a little bit because like I was doing shit every single day and we only really had like the weekend together. And obviously you need to be spending that time together. We still come back from not seeing me for 3 months in Thailand.
Yeah, it's kudos as well to Grace for still being there. You know, she's on the business now, but being there in the background and understanding, this isn't just we'll do this for now and give me time, do this. I see where you're going with your life.
Yeah.
Obviously your relationship's a relationship, but to be supportive of you and what you're doing and your vision, I think is highly commendable for her.
It's mega, mate. I always say I've got a very small circle, but all the people in it, I fucking trust to the end of the earth. Like, and I think we are in a position now where it has laid off a tiny bit because now we spend a lot more time together because she comes along to the majority of things, which is massive. And I think that we would have definitely struggled a bit more if I was out doing all this stuff. Because like, say for example, like I'm flying to all these different countries, can't take her because she's working. And then like, unless it's like, I put it through like personally, not on the business, it's mega difficult. And especially when we weren't living together, like, and I was doing all this time, but like, I feel like because we've weathered the storm, we've gone through all that hardship in that, like she's only been in business since September. So it's only been like a month and a half, 2 months. But like, because we weathered that storm from May till September, we're now like reaping the benefits a bit. And don't get me wrong, the work-life balance is still like fact. We'll like
absolutely
like we'll be in the same house together in different rooms and we'll barely speak to each other the whole day. But it is like you said, like further down the line, we've got so much stuff that we want to do.
And that age-old saying, do the work now because your future self will thank you for it, won't it? You know, anyone can be comfortable and sit there and be happy and have all the time in the world with each other. But I'm a big firm believer of going out and getting after it.
Yeah.
If you could talk to your younger self, be it when you were a child, when you were joining the band, anything, what's the one piece of advice that you'd give yourself?
This is the only question I actually prepped for.
Nice.
This is the only question I actually fucking prepped for. My piece of advice to my younger self would be, don't be a fucking pussy and just whatever opportunity presents itself, do not doubt yourself and fucking take it. Because like I said, that's the only thing that I've regretted was not going for that Royal Marines Commandos when I got offered it. That is the only thing that I regret. And now, ever since then, I've never taken anything. I've never like passed up an opportunity. So it would just be take every opportunity that comes and back yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And if there's one life lesson that you could give to everyone, what would that be? So different to advice, but what's a life lesson?
Stop caring what other people fucking think of you, lads.
I'm there for that.
I definitely get some fucking looks with what I'm doing. And as soon as you can eliminate to stop caring about what other people think of you, your life will change. I've said this in videos on social media. As soon as you eliminate the opinion of other people, genuinely, your life will skyrocket.
And you have freedom. You have true freedom when you stop caring about anyone else. In 100 years from now, who's going to care what we did on an Instagram thing? Who's going to care what we did down the pub? Like whatever it is, just stop caring about whatever people think, because other people and what they think, to an extent, it doesn't affect your life in any way, shape or form.
And I always say, why would you let the opinion of a random individual dictate your life? Like why, if say for example, like you said about hate on social media, some little freak that I don't even know, if he comments saying, oh, you look fat or your hairline's washed or whatever, like why would I let that affect me? Because I don't know this bloke. I'm never going to hear from him again, see him again. Like it's genuinely like I started stopping caring what people think about me back in lockdown. Yeah. And like I said, changed it for the better. And like the stuff we do now, like budgies, Crocs up Snowdon. Yeah. People love it. Like so most people think, oh, people are going to think I'm a weirdo. People are up there fucking asking to take photos with me, being like this, no one's going to believe that I've seen this. And like, it's giving people a little bit of, it will actually shed light. Like, you know what I mean? Give it a joy to some people.
Is there any misconceptions that you'd like to address? Either with yourself, the business, social media, anything?
No, I think because I put everything out there and I'm so real about everything. And I've never had a dispute, never had a drama. And because I'm so honest and open about everything I do, and because I don't pretend to be someone I'm not on social media, there physically is nothing I ever have to dispute, because I know that the people are watching me because it's me.
Yeah.
They're not watching a persona, a fucking fake anything. So I know that, and that's whenever I bump into anyone that follows me online, it's like they're a fucking mate because I know that if they watch my stuff, I know they're going to get on with me because they vibe with my personality. So I know that it's just a like-minded community of individuals that are just little freaks like me.
Yeah.
So like, and I feel like if you have to come on places like this and address stuff, doing it wrong. You know what I mean?
Like
doing it fucking wrong.
Like that. One action that people can take today to better their lives or to do anything. What's one thing that you've bit of?
Make someone happy, man. Go fucking give someone a compliment. Chat to someone in the fucking gym. Do something that's going to put you outside your comfort zone a little bit that you'll look back on in a week or so and go, God, I'm well happy I did that. I think too many people are just so hesitant to do stuff. And even if it's just say to someone, oh, in the gym, your outfit looks sick, or mate, you're strong, you're looking big. Like, compliments go a fucking long way. I say to blokes in the gym all the time, fucking hell, you're so much bigger than me. And like, they'll remember that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it may just be a passing comment to you, but just do something to make someone else happy. Tell your mum you love them.
Yeah.
That's what I always do.
Wicked. Powerful stuff, Tegs, man. Thank you very much. And for those watching, what can they do to come and support you? I mean, I think people watching know where you are anyway.
Yeah.
Social media. What could people do to help support you in your journey?
Fucking use code hairline and share the Christmas calendar videos. It's breaking me as an individual.
I love it. Brother, thank you for coming.
Thank you
for your
me.
service, and thank you for being a part of our family of combat fuel as well.
Yeah.
Much love.
Much love to you. That was sick, wasn't it?
That's cool.
That's cool, man. I felt proper professional.
Yeah, boy.